What's a simple, super clean joke that makes everyone laugh whenever you tell it? You know, there's a fine line between fishing and standing on the shore like an idiot. One of my favorites. Although it's pretty old, you don't hear it very often. This has potential for depth depending on the context. A father was washing his car with his son, and the son asked, "Dad, can't you just use a sponge?" This joke is literally super clean. Oh, the grown-up folks are gonna get when I tell my kids this in the morning. Brilliant. Had to read it 3 times. Was worth it. This might be my favorite so far. Joke didn't kick in until I read it again, lol. Supreme dad joke. Okay, this one got me. Plateaus are the highest form of flattery. Okay, that one got a chuckle. I've never read the plural of plateau before. I think I had a minor stroke trying to figure out what a platehouse was. I never thought of that. One day, a police officer pulls a car over and sees the back seat is full of penguins. The officer tells the driver, "You can't be doing this. You need to take these penguins to the zoo." The next day, the police officer pulls the same car over again and says, "Hey, I told you to take these penguins to the zoo." The driver says, "I did. And today I'm taking them to the movies." Quote, "This is so cute, haha. Isn't this like straight out of Mr. Popper's Penguins?" That sounds wholesome if you think about it. My go-to, but I end with, "Today, we're going to the beach." Quote, I have a lot of jokes about unemployment, but none of them work. What's the difference between a good joke and a bad joke? Timing. I had to reread this several times as I thought you meant good, bad joke timing as one word, LMAO. Still don't get it? Can someone explain please? I'll never forget my dad's face when I gave him his 50th birthday card. Tears in his eyes as he said to me, "One would have done." During a funeral service, a gentleman approaches the grieving widow and says, "Excuse me, may I say in a word?" "Yes, of course," she says. The man gets up and says, "Plethora, thank you." The widow sobs. "That means a lot. Love it." The way I heard it told was, "May I say a few words?" "Yes, of course." He stands up and says, "Not dying." The wife says, "Thanks." He would have liked that. When does a joke become a dad joke? When it's apparent, or when it's full-grown? Puns make people cringe, not laugh. The bigger the cringe, the better the pun. A sandwich walks into a bar. The barman says, "Sorry, we don't serve food in here." Ah, dumb tish. I invented a new word today. Plagiarism. Good joke. Here's mine. I invented a new word today. Plagiarism. Wait, but that. What do we want? Low-flying airplanes. When do we want them? NNNEEOOOOOOWWWWW. I told my wife this one and now she's regretting our marriage, haha. I just whispered "Neo wow" to myself and now I can't finish my workout because I'm laughing too hard. I read this as a motorcycle was going by and thought it was an airplane. What do we want? Motorcycle racing. When do we want it? NNNNEEOWWNN yow. Why did the old man fall into the well? Because he couldn't see that well. I heard this for the first time fairly recently. It is to date my favorite pun. A friend of mine is an agnostic dyslexic insomniac. He stays up all night long wondering if there's a dog. This is the funniest thing I've seen. Dyslexics of the world, untie. Quote, "Two fish swim into a concrete wall. One turns to the other and says, 'Damn.' What did the fish say when he swam into a brick wall? Damn. What did the fish's son say when he ran into a brick wall? Damn. What did the fish's grandson say when he swam into a brick wall? Damn." Keep it going until the person either says, "I don't know," or, "Is this going to end?" Well, you should. It's the same damn joke. Quote, "Two fish in a tank. One turns to the other and says, 'How do you drive this thing?' Cute. What did they give the guy that invented the door knocker? A Nobel Prize. I wanted to tell that joke to a friend. When I wanted to tell the answer I realized that joke can't be translated into German. Just got attacked by 6 dwarves. Not happy. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles. Did you hear the one about the octopi that got married? They walked down the aisle arm in 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 arm. An English couple have a child. After the birth, medical tests revealed that the child is normal, apart from the fact that it is German. This, however, should not be a problem. There is nothing to worry about. As the child grows older, it dresses in lederhosen and has a pudding bowl haircut, but all its basic functions develop normally. It can walk, eat, sleep, read and so on, but for some reason the German child never speaks. The concerned parents take it to the doctor, who reassures them that as the German child is perfectly developed in all other areas, there is nothing to worry about and that he is sure the speech faculty will eventually blossom. Years pass. The German child enters its teens, and still it is not speaking, though in all other respects it is fully functional. The German child's mother is especially distressed by this, but attempts to conceal her sadness. One day she makes the German child, who is now 17 years old and still silent, a bowl of tomato soup, and takes it through to him in the parlor where he is listening to a wind-up gramophone record player. Soon, the German child appears in the kitchen and suddenly declares, "Mother, this soup is a little tepid." The German child's mother is astonished. "All these years," she exclaims, "we assumed you could not speak, and yet all along it appears you could. Why? Why did you never say anything before?" "Because, mother," answers the German child, "up until now, everything has been satisfactory. One of my absolute favorites. I think the first time I heard it was from Henning when and his delivery was perfect. I don't get it, but I badly want to. That joke is so well known in Europe, people only need the setup and people laugh. What's the difference between a hippo and a zippo? One's really heavy and the other's a little lighter. You calling me fat? Edit, look at my username. It was a joke. Why are pirates so salty? They just ARRRRR. Then the follow-up. What's a pirate's favorite letter? People almost always say R because of the last joke. R. You'd think so, but it be the C. Deliver in pirate voice for extra points. The P, because without it he'd be irate. What do you call it when Batman skips church? Christian Bale. OMG, this one killed me. Robin, sir, the Batmobile won't start. B. Check the battery. R. Who is Terry? Did you hear about the kidnapping in the park? They woke him up, open mouth smile. Why do space rocks taste better than Earth rocks? They're a little meatier. Were whalers on the moon musical notes? Why did the Scarecrow win the Lifetime Achievement Award? Because he was outstanding in his field. My dad actually won an award in the 70s for being a man outstanding in his field, and ever since then whenever he gets near a field he has to take a picture of him standing in it. I always heard that one with a cow. What's a duck favorite snack? Quackers. I really like this one. Not because it's a pun, but because I'm stupid and think the word quackers is funny. The joke could literally just be quackers and I'd laugh. Why did the duck wear pants? To cover his butt quack. You got any grapes? I've heard this one as cheese and quackers. Quackers. What's big and green and will kill you if it falls out of a tree? A pool table. Shrek. What does a thesaurus eat for breakfast? A synonym roll. Guy standing alone at the edge of a cliff yelling out 14. 14. 14. Over and over again. Another guy comes up. What the hell, dude? Why do you keep yelling out 14? Come over here, I'll show you. So the guy walks up to the edge and peers over, and gets shoved off the cliff. Now the first guy yells out 15. 15. 15. Quote, a man is walking outside an insane asylum and hears the loonies inside chanting 13, 13, 13. Curious to why they were yelling, he sticks his eye in a hole in the wall. He then immediately gets poked in the eye and the loonies start yelling 14, 14, 14. Give this man an award. Larry was an old piece of lasso who steps into a bar one day for a drink. The bartender looks at him suspiciously and says, "Hey, pal, we don't serve ropes here." Larry steps outside, ties himself into a clove hitch and unravels one of his ends into a feathery mess. He goes back inside and in a low voice says, "Beer, please." Bartender says, "Hey, aren't you that rope who was just in here?" Larry replies, "No, I'm afraid not. What do you call an explosive monkey?" Ba-boom. Why do North Koreans draw the best straight lines? They have a supreme ruler. My ex-wife still misses me, but her aim is getting better. It's funny because marriage is terrible. A priest, a rabbi, and a lama go into a bar. The bartender yells, "What is this, some kind of joke?" Quote, "A priest, a rabbit, and a minister walk into a bar." The rabbit says, "I might be a typo. What's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag is a big plus. My dad used to always say, you should fight fire with fire." Which is probably why he got thrown out of the fire department. My granddad always said, whenever one door closes another one opens. Lovely man, but a terrible cabinet maker. Me, hey, when I hear a ghost joke. Them, yeah sure. Me, that's the spirit. It will either make them laugh or shake their head, no in-betweens. What do you call a dog who can do magic? Labracadabrador. If you see this, please say Labracadabrador out loud. You're welcome. A guy goes to the eye doctor. He says, "I have trouble seeing things at a distance." The doc takes him over to the window, points up to the sky, and says, "What do you see up there?" The guy says, "The sun." Doc says, "That's right. So, exactly how far do you need to see, dude?" Reminds me of this one from the joke sub. Went to a zoo, but there weren't any animals except a dog. It was a shih tzu. What is brown and sticky? A stick. Cute. What is brown and rhymes with Snoop? A. Dr. Dre. What's brown and runny? Usain Bolt. Wait, that's my joke. Long but worth it, honestly. It's funnier the longer you make it go on. A sweet young lad has decided to ask a cute girl at his school to be his prom date. He heads to her locker after class and is startled to see a line of 5 other boys all waiting for their chance to ask her. Not to be dissuaded, he steps into the end of the line and waits. One by one they are rejected and he gets his chance. She says yes. The next day he goes to the florist to order her corsage. It's prom season, so the shop is packed to the brim with customers doing the same. He waits in line for an entire hour, but eventually he gets what he came for and heads home. Later that week, he remembers he still needs to rent a tuxedo. He calls the formal clothing store and is on hold for 45 minutes. But eventually gets through and is able to claim a tux to be picked up that evening. When he gets there, the parking lot is full and there is a line out the door. He has his order number in hand and queues up with the rest of the students. After 2 hours he eventually gets what he came for and heads home. Prom night has arrived and he realizes he hasn't made arrangements for the limo to pick up his special gal and himself. Panicked, he calls the number listed on the website and is unsurprisingly met with a busy signal. The clock is ticking, so he tries again. The company expected this surge in last-minute rentals and is managing the calls as best as they can. He is next in line to be served, and after a wait he is able to book the luxury vehicle for that evening. Tuxedo on, limo arrived, date corsaged, prom, here they come. They pull up to the school and join their classmates in the decorated gymnasium. It's a truly magical evening and everything is just as it should be. His date looks beautiful and he is so pleased with how everything came together. Just before the dancing starts, she tells him that she is very thirsty. He is a gentleman and offers to get her a drink. He gets up and heads over to the concession tables. There is no punchline. This is my absolute favorite joke to tell because it's not funny for them, it's funny for me. All that bravo anyways. I think the punchline is when they punch you in the face because of how terrible that joke was. You, knock knock. Then, who's there? You, a control freak. Alright, now you say control freak who? Guy 1. I slept like a baby last night. Guy 2. Oh, really? Guy 1. Yeah, I woke up every 2 hours crying. I love to tell dad jokes. Sometimes he laughs. Well, some nice ones here. I love this sort. Thank you for showing me more. I'll post my collection here. For most of them, I changes the Q&A into a one-liner. Though I kind of regret doing that now. The number 13, not on my watch! Exclamation mark. The 2 crows that tried to start their own flock were charged with attempted murder. If attacking clowns, go for the juggler. I gave away my dead batteries free of charge. I'm still working on a construction joke. You can't explain a pun to a kleptomaniac. They take things literally. I tried to make a belt out of watches. It was a waste of time. What do you call a herd of giggling cows? Laughing stock. What do you call a sleepwalking nun? A roaming Catholic. I know a guy who is addicted to brake fluid. He says he can stop anytime. Secretary, please tell the invisible man I can't see him today. She got fired from the hot dog stand for putting her hair in a bun. A boy swallowed some coins. The doctor checked them out and said, no change yet. This book on beating gravity is great. I can't put it down. After surviving mustard gas and pepper spray, he was considered a seasoned veteran. My flashlight died. I'm delighted. C, E flat and G walk into a bar. The bartender says, sorry, no minors. It was nice when I let my fingernails grow a little, but now it's getting out of hand. I would have kept off the grass, but I don't understand sign language. A guy stayed on a merry-go-round for 3 days. He set a world record. No one seems to like my jokes about patchwork. I've tried so hard. When the shoe salesman offered me Velcro shoes, I said, sure, why not? 2 silkworms had a race. They ended up in a tie. Male deer have buck teeth. That was a very emotional wedding. Even the cake was in tears. Did you hear about the guy who lost his left arm? He's all right now. She gets her way by pretending she's sad. She's an expert in psychology. She applied at the post office but they wouldn't let her. They said it's all male there. The roundest night at the round table was circumference. He had too much pie. What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. Which is parking only, all others will be towed. That performance about puns was just a play on words. When cannibals ate a missionary, they got a taste of religion. Without geometry, life is pointless. I dyed my hair today. It was the highlight of the week. About Rosh Hashanah, shofar, so good. My doctor told me to cut down on sodium. I took his advice with a pinch of salt. The Paint Catapult won the competition with flying colors. Never trust atoms, they make up everything. I can have dinner at a Native American restaurant. Who needs reservations? Upon it, maturity is fully grown. As a couple, oxygen and potassium make her okay. I used to have a fear of hurdles, but I got over it. No one laughed when I fell while skating, but the ice sure cracked up. Pinning pictures on a bulletin board seems a bit tacky. A man drowned in a bowl of muesli. A strong current pulled him in. The man who fell into an upholstery machine is now fully recovered. Does the name Pavlov ring a bell? The calendar's days are numbered. He drove his expensive car into a tree and found out how his Mercedes-Benz. He often broke into song because one couldn't find the right key. What's the difference between a democratic system and a feudal system? In one, your vote counts. In the other, your count votes. The best way to communicate with fish is to drop them a line. She was only a whiskey maker's daughter, but he loved her still. No matter how much you push the envelope, it will remain stationary. Bread bakers' recipes are on a need-to-know basis. Hungry. A boiled egg is hard to beat. A gossip is someone with a great sense of rumor. Corduroy pillows are making headlines. The 2 egoists were made for each other. An eye for an eye. I wondered why the baseball kept getting bigger. Then it hit me. Dreaming in color is a pigment of your imagination. A pessimist's blood type is B negative. Knock knock. Who's there? Owls. Owls who? Yes, yes, they do. All the animals came to the ark together. Even the insects came in pairs. Except the worms, they came in apples. Why should you enjoy the music being played at the entrance of a hotel? Well, it's for your entertainment. After all, the artist got mad and drew his sword. You can't trust a deli sandwich. They're full of bologna. Before we were married, my wife used to clean up my place, and I used to clean hers. Eventually, we realized that we were made for each other. Why did the stadium feel so hot after the game? All the fans left. Why do birds fly south for the winter? It's too far to walk. Just by looking, I can tell if someone is lying. I can also tell if they're standing. My first time using an elevator was an uplifting experience. The second time let me down. To be frank, I'd have to change my name. Why do moon rocks fill you up more than Earth rocks? They're a little meteor. How do you send an apology by telegraph? By using Morse code. Why is Peter Pan always flying? Because he never lands. What genre are national anthems? Country music. Why do trees look a little suspicious on sunny days? They seem a bit shady. My books fell out for the bookcase. I only have my shelf to blame. Why can't your nose be 12 inches long? Because then it would be a foot. I used to be addicted to the hokey pokey, but I turned myself around. They thought I couldn't even attach two pieces of wood together, but I totally nailed it. What do you call corn that joins the army? Colonel. On what charge was the guy arrested for rearranging his dinner table? Disorderly conduct. Welcome to Plastic Surgery Addicts Anonymous. I see a few new faces here, and I am very disappointed. Why did the hippie drown? He went ice skating on the pond before it was cool. My recliner and I have a long history. We go way back. My math teacher said I was average. I think he's mean. Light bulbs do not make good meals, but they're good for a light snack. I don't care that I can't scrape cheese. I have greater problems. What's the meaning of ignorance and apathy? I don't know, and I don't care. Watch me teach you how to cut a piece of wood just by looking at it. You can then say that you saw it with your own two eyes. My wife is fed up of my constant dad jokes, so I asked her, how can I stop my addiction? Wife, whatever means necessary. Me, no it doesn't. I have a Polish friend who's a sound technician. Oh, and a check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. A woman walks into a library and asked if they had any books about paranoia. Librarian, they're right behind you. Quote. A man walks into a library and orders fish and chips. The librarian says, this is a library. The man says, oh, sorry. Then in a whisper, I'd like some fish and chips. Why don't ants get sick? Because they have little antibodies. Plateaus are the highest form of flattery. What does a thesaurus eat for breakfast? A synonym roll. What's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag is a big plus. Did you hear about the kidnapping in the park? They woke him up. If you don't pay your exorcist, you might get repossessed. With her marriage, she got a new name and address. When a clock is hungry, it goes back 4 seconds. When those first strands of gray hair came in, she thought she'd die. Mahatma Gandhi, as you know, walked barefoot most of the time, which produced an impressive set of calluses on his feet. He also ate very little, which made him rather frail, and with his odd diet, he suffered from bad breath. This made him, oh, man, this is so bad, it's good, a supercalifragilistic hexed by halitosis. Mick Jagger's dog asked his friend, Patricia Whack, for a loan, offering a small item as collateral. Puzzled, she asked her husband what it was. It's a knick-knack, Patty Whack. Give the dog a loan. His old man's a rolling stone. Pavlov was sitting at a bar when the phone rang. Suddenly, he gasped, I forgot to feed the dogs. Quote, what's the difference between an etymologist and an entomologist? The etymologist knows the difference. He's more classless than a Marxist utopia. She's so mean she has no standard deviation. Taxidermists really know their stuff. The shoot grizzly went away barefoot. A lighthouse, rose trellis, windstorm, dune, and Halloween costume got together for a beacon, lattice, and tornado sandwich. What do you get when you cross a joke with a rhetorical question? Should I add hydrogen to sodium? Nah. Where will the boomerang land? Oh, wait, it's coming back to me. Ladders are evil. They're always up to something. Sleeping is so easy, I can do it with my eyes closed. Einstein finally formulated a theory on space. And it was about time too. I only make puns about the elements periodically. Why does a chicken coop only have 2 doors? Because if it had 4 doors we would call it a chicken sedan. You welcome. I love this joke. I used to work in a hardware store and people would come in all excited about getting chickens and building a coop. When they asked for help I would always tell them that they could only have 2 doors on the coop. And when they asked why, I'd smile and finish the joke.